Hey, how's it going, everybody? It's Jazzy, or Sasquatch here, and we are doing our horror movie night in the cave for Friday night. We went through the decades here, like we did with the action movies. Started in 1972, but we're gonna start with the newest movie first because it just came out. We'll talk about that one, and then we'll go into that. And then we'll go to 1980 and then 1990, and then blah blah blah. Like we do with like we've done a couple times here on this channel. It's always fun seeing these movies though, because you're always kind of picking out new movies, and it kind of reminds you of going to the video store back in the day because you're not really positive what you're getting, and you're kind of picking by decade and only picking by the picture. So it is about the closest experiences you can get to here. But we're going to start with the new movie here, and that is on Netflix, The Last House, directed by Louise Leterrier, starring Greta Lee and Wagner Moura. A family of four is suddenly sealed inside their house with no way out and must work together to survive against both their dwindling resources and the mysterious looming threat that is keeping them trapped inside. August 7th, 2026, this came out. This is a PG-13 horror movie, and usually I'll sit here and blast you PG-13 horror movies and just tell you how boring they are, but this one actually kind of worked because the suspense is really what kind of builds on everything because you don't know what's going on and you're not aware of what's going on, and you're kind of learning and doing and adapting as the movie goes with the family. I thought it was a very well done movie. I think that Wagner Moura is an amazing actor. He played Pablo Escobar in the series on Netflix, Narcos, and he just did a very good job in that. And everything else I've ever seen him in, he was good in, and he's good in this as well. I didn't use the children's name because there's two or three sets of children, or maybe three sets of the girl and then two sets of the boy, but I didn't want to look up all those names, and they were kind of hard to say, to be honest with you. So they did a very good job too. The little girl did very good to play her part and move the story along. But really, like I said, Wagner kind of stays along. Greta Lee's very good in this too. I don't know how well I would adapt to being stuck inside, especially without internet. I think that's the killer part there. But at least he had power for the longest time. Even though that eventually goes away. I mean, they're in there for years. I mean, I think a decade almost, if I remember correctly. And it's just crazy. You finally kind of learn everything that happened as it's going, and then they kind of figure their way out and dwindle and adapt and survive. Honestly, though, the ending, even though that they do kind of figure everything out, it is kind of very oblique ending. It's something it's worth watching. I won't tell you how they figured it out, but it's very bleak, very sad, very, 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 what is it, somber, or very, very lonely when you think about it. So I thought this movie did a very good job in conveying all those things. It's a very good thriller. It has good action sequences, and it is on Netflix. Like I said, that is The Last House, directed by. Oh, we'll give it a grade because it is a brand new movie. We don't do that much. I'll give it a B plus. I think it keeps you with the story. I think that maybe little bits of a drag, a little bit, but it's worth the wait. It is a slow burn. It is all those things that we kind of talk about. So definitely a B plus is good. And that is The Last House, directed by Louis Leterrier. And we're going to go back to 1972 here and start with, I think, one of legendary director's very first movies, and that is The Last House on the Left, directed by Wes Craven, starring Sandra Peabody, Lucy Grantham, and David Hess. Two teenage girls heading to a rock concert for one's birthday try to score marijuana in the city, where they are kidnapped and brutalized by a gang of psychopathic convicts. It came out on August 30th, 1972, at a budget of $90K and a gross of $135. I'm sure that number is like way different. It is a cult classic. It did get remade later on in the 2000s era. This one itself is one of those movies that, because it comes from the 1970s and it's like so raw, it kind of feels more real, even though like some of the scenes like obviously that's not real, but it feels like overall everything they're going through is more real with the way the group attacks them and stuff like this. And the simulated stuff that they do it's crazy. They definitely torture these girls. And then the parents finally, that's the whole point, is the parents finally get back at them. In a pretty gruesome way, even for 1972, there's a fucking pretty gruesome scene in that. I can't believe it even fly any time period, let alone 1972. But they were just kind of letting shit go, see what stuck to the wall. All the practical effects really worked for this movie. I mean, even today, it kind of fits in. If you've not seen the original, I definitely go back to see it because this was, like I said, Wes Craven's the one that kind of made Wes Craven the director to beat, as he later got in with Nightmares and the other stuff that he did. So high screams. I mean, there's so many great horror movies by Wes Craven, The Wishmaster, stuff, just crazy stuff. So this is where it all kind of started here. That is Last House on the Left, directed by Wes Craven. Next one we're going to talk about is Slugs, directed by Juan Piquer Samin, starring Michael Garfield, Levin, Kim Perry, Philip McHale. Killer Slugs on a Rampage in a Rural Community came out February 5th, 1988. The director is obviously French. It's obviously kind of like a French horror movie in like a sense that it kind of pushes the boundaries. It makes you more sick and gross than anything else, as well as all the practical effects in it, like the scenes where they kind of rip apart the fucking face and stuff like this. Is pretty gruesome. This is pretty, honestly, kind of like a sleeper, really good horror movie from the 80s. It came out in 1988. I had never seen this before, and I enjoyed watching it. The slugs are like crazy. Everything's practical effects. It's in the 80s, so all the slugs like look real, and when they're attacking you, they look real. Like that's like everything that we want from these people. It's like everything we want from movies nowadays, especially with like the CGI and stuff like this. We want it as real as possible, but the practical effects just kind of make it all work. Um, Great, kind of funny story, kind of classic. They get to the slugs, they get into the fucking scientific lab, they diagnose what the slugs are, and they kind of figure out from there what to do with the slugs. But it is still worth watching. It has great pacing, and it is on Shudder, I believe. So it has something if you've never checked out, I would check that out. And that is Slugs, directed by Juan Piquer, someone. Um, the next one we're going to talk about is kind of cheating, even though we're not talking about Ash vs. Evil Dead this week. We did cover the first two Evil Dead, so I thought I'd cover this one too. Army of Darkness, directed by Sam Raimi, starring Bruce Campbell, Beth Davids, and Marcus Gilbert. When Ash Williams is accidentally transported to 1380, he must retrieve the Necronomicon and battle an army of the dead in order to return home. February 1993 had a budget of $11 million, opening 4 and a gross of 11, so it made its money back. Sam Raimi is still involved with this. Of course, Bruce Campbell is still involved with this. This was one where they take it back to the medieval time periods, and we get like a cool little Ash scene where he makes a sword type deal, like blessed sword deal, and starts killing fucking deadites. I think that Bruce Campbell's right when he recently said that the Evil Dead does need a little bit more humor in it, but I still at the same time I think that the way that they're doing it now is authentic to what everything is, but I would appreciate just a little bit more campiness, but I'm not going to sit there and nitpick it. I mean, but this guy's a legend, and this is like a legendary movie, and like, the other two he did are all legendary, so it's kind of hard to argue against what he kind of accomplished there with this character, and then went on to make a TV series eventually in the 2010 era too, so it's a guy who pretty much played the part for 40 years talking about it. I enjoyed it. I get why people kind of hate on it. I think that the people that like Evil Dead are going to enjoy it, though. If you've never seen this, I'd definitely check it out because it's like an Evil Dead movie like you've never seen before. And it's Bruce Campbell and all Bruce Campbell's gloriness. So that is Army of Darkness, directed by Sam Raimi. Okay, so now we're into the 2000s. This one I thought I had seen. I might have seen a different movie that had like similar title, but I don't think I've ever seen this one. That is Feardotcom, directed by William Malone, starring Stephen Dorff, Natasha McElhone, and Stephen Ray. A New York City detective investigates mysterious deaths occurring 48 hours after users log onto a site named Fear.com. Came out August 30th, 2005, had a budget of 40, opening of 5 and gross 18, so it really wasn't a hit. I thought that Natasha McElhone was pretty good in this, and I think Stephen Dorff's also good in this, but I think this movie's a little boring. It's long. There's another kid, I forget who it is, but he pops up in this, and he's pretty famous now, too. I don't know. It just wasn't really my thing. I thought I'd seen this, but there must be a different one that has a similar name, and I'm kind of trying to think of what that one. I think maybe Killer.com or something. I thought that one was better than this one, and they're kind of close to the same concept, so I don't know. Maybe I'm just remembering a better version of this in my past, and CERN got closed, and they made a shitty version of it. I don't know, but that is what this is. It's like this is what you get when you're kind of picking movies by covers and like what you think might be good, and kind of what also kind of slim pickings with what you could have seen and haven't seen, especially around this time period where I would have been watching a lot of horror movies. But I don't know. If you have like a thriller type of deal, like kind of like you can't really find many movies like Silence of the Lambs, and you're just kind of looking for something that's similar to that. This is kind of that, but at the same time, it's so far away, like quality wise, that you're kind of getting mad at me for even saying that. But that is Fear.com, directed by William Malone. The last one we're going to talk about here is, since we already know they're coming out with a new one pretty soon here, I thought we'd go ahead and cover this one. That is Carrie, directed by Kimberly Pierce, starring Chloe Grace Moretz, Julianne Moore, and Gabrielle Wilde. A shy girl, outcast by her peers and sheltered by her religious mother, unleashed telekinetic terror on a small town after being pushed too far at her senior prom. Judy Greer pops up this October 18th, 2013. This had the whole push behind it. Had Chloe Grace Moretz, who was coming off of Kick-Ass and was going to be a big old star. She was just growing into her thing, too, so she was just becoming more of an appeal for people to kind of exploit here in Hollywood, especially with this kind of role here. We're talking about senior proms and these kind of girls and what it's going through, and kind of some of the scenes she did. But that's just kind of what we all go through, or they all kind of go through when they're younger actresses. I like this movie. I think a lot of people did too. I think it was dark. I think it was awesome. I thought Judy Greer played a really good part, but I really thought Julianne Moore as a mom was like really scary, like really, really, really tough. Chloe Grace Moretz does all right. Honestly, I think the other girl in this is pretty good. I think that's Gabrielle Wilde. But at the same time, you get kind of what you get with this, with her and everything involved here. But this is, I mean, this is going to be her coming out party. It never really hit for her. This is a hit of a movie, though. It has two times its budget plus a little third there. So, I mean, it did make its money back and then some. So, I mean, obviously, it's only a one time off with Stephen King anyway, so we're going to get sequels and stuff like this. But I think this did set her up pretty good. I wonder what kind of happened in what movie. We should probably maybe follow that storyline a little bit and see what kind of happened to her, because she wasn't going to be the next big thing there for a little bit after Kick Ass. But, sometimes it just doesn't happen. Um, Other than that, yeah, no, this one I've enjoyed. I really think this is a good story. Stephen King, obviously, master storyteller. This is like Stephen King prime here. The problem that I can see with the newer movie is it's going to be a little bit more woke than anything else. But I don't know. It'll be interesting to see if we get the pig's blood and all that. But everything stayed true to it. It was scary. Chloe Grace Moretz plays just a dirty ass Carrie too, just mean and awesome. I don't know. It's something I would definitely check out if you've never checked out, and that is Carrie, directed by Kimberly Pierce. That is our horror movie night in the Cape. I didn't even look up what movie. I usually do that to see what movie we're going to see this weekend. Let's see here. Oh, I have no internet down here, I guess. Theater. What is the new movies for this week? Oh, The End of Oak Street. That's easy. I'm not a PG-13 horror movie, though. That's interesting. But yeah, easily, that's what I'm going to go see this week, is End of Oak Street. So look for that on the next Throwback Thursday. As well as next week, we'll continue with Ash vs. Evil Dead. We were just taking a break from our Marvel stuff and our weekly stuff with these two and going through the decades. And then that'll be it. Thank you guys very much for watching. And please like and follow and have a good rest of your day or night. Thank you for watching. Please like and subscribe. Comment your top movie picks for Throwback Thursday in the comment section. And see you next time in the cave.